Hey guys, good morning. It is May 8th, 2022. And today we are finishing up chapter 27. And there's a subtitle to these verses. So we're going to be in chapter 27, verse 41 through chapter 27, verse 46. And this subtitle is Jacob flees to Padam Aram. I probably said that wrong, and I'm sorry. But that's the subtitle of these verses. So I'm going to start in 41. From that time on, Esau hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme, I will soon be mourning my father's death. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. But Rebekah heard about Esau's plans, so she sent Jacob and told him, listen, Esau is counseling himself by plotting to kill you. So listen carefully, my son. Get ready and flee to my brother Elabam in Haram. Stay there with him until your brother cools off. Then he calms down and forgets what you have done to him. I will send for you to come back. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am sick and tired of these local Hittite women. I would rather die than see Jacob marry one of them. Okay, do you see this? Because this is a whole bunch of mess. So remember, Jacob lies to Isaac, gets the blessing Esau is supposed to get. Then Esau gets upset, rightfully. But here's where sin enters in. Here's where the Cain and Abel thing enters in. Esau wants to kill Jacob. It's how we deal with our anger that is either righteous or sinful. And Esau is planning Jacob's death. He's saying, I'm going to wait until my father dies, and then I'm going to kill my brother, because my brother took the blessing from me, and he stole it. Now, there's sin number one. Sin number two, Jacob now runs away and flees, and Rebekah, instead of telling Isaac the truth, now remember, Rebekah knew everything that was going on. Rebekah knew what Jacob was doing. Rebekah knew what Jacob did. But instead of being honest and saying, look, okay, Jacob did this. Jacob stole the blessing from you that belonged to Esau. Rebekah then turns around and lies and says, oh, I'm sending Jacob away because of the Hittite women. It's just a spiral. Do you see this? That once we sin, it becomes this snowball effect where we have to keep up with the sin. We have to keep up with whatever we've done. Just like Rebekah has to keep up with the lie that Jacob has done because she knows about it. Isaac will probably be mad or upset if he finds out that Rebekah helped Jacob plan this. But not only that, now the people who were hurt because of the initial lie, the initial sin, are now sinning also because Esau is planning on killing his brother. So it's this thing where it's repetitive over and over again. And if we sin, if we do something wrong, then it affects other people. And other people either can choose to go the righteous way, or they can go the sinful way. Now, it doesn't mention what Isaac is doing at this moment. It really doesn't. All it mentions is that Esau will soon mourn Isaac's death. It also mentions that Rebekah is talking to Isaac. So it doesn't really mention what Isaac exactly is doing in this, but remember, he was hurt by Jacob's sin too. So when Jacob sat there and was like, I'm gonna lie, and not only lie, but like go to this extreme where he wore goatskin and he pretended to be his brother and he wore his brother's clothes, like that was a massive lie. But now they have to make up for it. Now the people who were lying, Rebecca and Jacob, have to make up and have to keep it going. Because if they get caught in this lie, I mean, Jacob kind of already got caught. Jacob got caught. So Jacob then has to flee because his brother is mad. Mad. He wants to kill his brother because he took this blessing away from him. So Jacob got caught. But Rebecca didn't. So Rebecca overhears a conversation somehow with Esau planning the death of his brother, and Rebecca says, run to where I grew up, run to my brother, run. I'm gonna cover you again. I'm going to do this again. And she knows that if Esau kills Jacob, that she loses both her sons in this process. But instead of telling the truth, and instead of admitting her part in all of this, she's like, nah, we gotta cover this up. And it becomes this rapid snowball effect of chaos and stress and all this stuff. And it's hard to see when you're in it. It's hard to see not only the effects that you have on yourself, but also the effects you have on other people. I mean, Jacob probably is not in a very good position right now. He's probably really stressed out because his brother wants to kill him. He's probably really stressed out because if his brother wants to kill him, that means he figured out that it was him, and his father probably figured out that it was him. And so he has that to deal with. And it's just this massive ball of stress. And then on top of that, he has to sit there and again, rope his mother into lying for him. So she point blank lies to Isaac again by saying, I am sick and tired of these local Hittite women. I would rather die than see Jacob marry one of them. So she's justifying why he's leaving. But justifying it in a lie. She's saying, oh, I'm sending him away because I don't want him to marry these women. Instead of saying, I'm sending him away because he lied, he cheated, and he deceived you. Have we been there? I've been there. Have we been there when we try to cover up for someone else? Or we try to cover up for ourselves? And it's just this rapid, you have to hold on and you have to remember and you have to do this over and over and over and over again. So that, number one, the person you're lying to does not figure out that you're lying or that you're covering something up. And number two, so that you are less able to keep things straight. It gets chaos. But that's what the evil one wants. He wants chaos. He doesn't want honesty. And he doesn't want us to admit these things. Because if we do, then we admit that we sinned and we can get help with it. So he wants this chaotic circle. Jesus doesn't want this chaotic circle. But it's hard. It's hard when you're in the midst of that lie, like Jacob and Rebecca, to sit there and to say, okay, look, I'm giving it up. I'm being honest. I'm going to deal with the consequences of being honest. And I'm just going to ask for forgiveness. We also have to think about Esau for a minute, because Esau was harmed, was hurt in this lie. But now he's taking it upon himself to sin again. Because he's sitting here saying, I'm going to kill my brother. if we think about the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not murder. I mean, they didn't have them specifically at this time because Noah's not born. Noah didn't speak to God yet. They don't have these 10 Commandments, but we see over and over again Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel because, now, on the flip side, Abel was good. But still, he kills him because of wanting revenge or having jealousy or whatever it is. So it's just a ball of mess. And I know I've been in that ball of mess. I've been in that ball of mess where it's just like, okay, I gotta keep this going, I gotta keep this going, I gotta keep this going. But when we stop and we say, okay, I can't keep this going anymore, I'm in so much chaos that I'm so stressed out. And when we stop and we say, look, this may be painful, but I'm going to admit what I have done. I am going to say, look, I've done this, and it's going to be hard. And I probably might have roped other people into this, and I've got to admit that I've done that to them, that I've convinced them to sin against God and against other people, and I have... But as stressful as that moment is, when we do that, we become free of that moment. And we become free of that sin. And we become free of that lie. And we can move on. But Jacob and Rebekah can't move on because they won't admit what happened. Esau can't move on because he won't admit that he wants to kill his brother. And he won't work with God on this. So Jacob's in a whole bunch of mess. Rebekah's in a whole bunch of mess. Esau's in a whole bunch of mess. We don't exactly know what Isaac's doing, but Isaac's really, really old at this point, and he probably feels hurt. And like I said, it hasn't said yet what Isaac is doing. But even in the moments of just being hurt by the lie, just being hurt by this sin, you're still in a whole bunch of mess. So Jacob making this one selfish decision, this one momentarily selfish decision on what he feels like he wants, has caused all this chaos. And has caused all this pain. And has caused all this everything. And when we need to take a step back. And we need to look at our actions in a moment. And say, what is it that I've done? How have I started this ball rolling? And admit that, and use that, and hold on to that. But also release it to God, and say, okay, God, I did this. But being honest is the best way to get free of this chaotic snowball effect. And it's hard. It's hard to admit these things. Because we want to save face. We want people to think we're not liars or cheaters or whatever. But in admitting it, we become free. When we don't admit it, when we don't bring it to the light, we are still slave to that sin. God wants us to be free. He doesn't want us to live in a world of chaos. That's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants us to live in a world of chaos and stress and slavery and all that. God wants us to live free. Free of that stress. Free of that sin. So I hope today you see Jesus in all you do. And I hope today you see God's promise all around you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.